playing a league with my 75 that I played at the Pro Tour. I ended up 20th place with this list. It's very sweet. Black-green, got some impulses to help find our Wildgrowth Walkers, since I think that's just one of the most important cards in the deck. It also just smooths out your draws a lot. Like this list a lot. As long as we don't face too many Drake stacks. The Drake stacks are scary, but being against most other things, it puts up a good fight. This hand is not great. It doesn't do anything till turn 4. I'm just gonna mulligan this. Right, this is way better. This is much, much better. Wildgrowth Walker into explore creatures. I have to bottom this to find land drops, but that's fine. It's like a very good opener. Ooh, Watery Grave decks are also a bit scary. Just because Ritual of Soot is very good against our build, where we're so in on Wildgrowth Walker. In fact, specifically, we built our list to be very good against Jeskai control. But the flip side of that is like the threats that are good against Jeskai aren't very good against Watery Grave in general. Because they lean on very different answers for your threats. Niv Mizzet is a very absurd Magic card for sure. Yeah, one of my losses at the PT was to Shota, who was playing a Grixis list. Just because the Ritual of Soot decks are kind of tough to beat sometimes. These Brontodons are going to do nice work though. They allow us to like create some pressure, but if we get Ritual of Sooted, we can kill the Search for a Scanter, which is very nice. Puts our opponent in like a little bit of a bind here. Nickel Bolas. Interesting. So it's either Brontodon or Branchwalker, right? Because both of them play into Ritual Soot. I really want to Chupacabra this next turn, but we don't know that we're drawing the land for that. I kind of want to have 2 bodies in play rather than just like sack the Brontodon. Guess we just discard the Branchwalker though. I kind of like that if we brick on a land, we can go like Branchwalker, trigger this, attack for 4, which is very nice. I'm just a bit worried if we get this ritualed, we risk losing to the Ascanter. But yeah, we have the mana for Chups, but we don't have mana for Chups hold up Brontodon. Is the problem. So like, if I knew I was drawing an untapped land, I'd 100% discard the second Brontodon. But like, not knowing makes it kind of tough. I think I'm just going to discard the Brontodon there. If we miss on a land, I'm just going to Branchwalker and attack them for 4. Oh my god. This is a tilting land. Right, fire off the Branchwalker. This is a good card. Helps us rebuild. I'm going to keep this on top. Rebuild for a ritual. So Ritual of Soot's still just going to be very good, but we get to blow up the Ascanter, untap, Chupacabra the Bolas. We have a Finality to help rebuild. Dig some cards back into our hand. Doom Whisperer, alright. That is fine. So they can't really attack us. Opponent agrees. Then I get to Chupacabra the Doom Whisperer attack again. It's a bit scary. They could use Doom Whisperer to turbo flip the Nickel Bolas. Hey Amy. Good afternoon. But if we kill the Nickel Bolas, we just don't even get to attack. So I feel like kind of priced into doing this. Yeah, they're going to turbo flip the Search, which is going to force us to crack the Brontodon to stop them flipping Bolas. Which is fine. Do I want to attack all? I'm doing pretty well, Amy. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Let them flip Bolas. What does this do? Maybe it's fine. I don't know, I'd also like them to not flip the Search as well. Yeah, they lose if they just flip Bolas, you're correct. Flipping Search is a bit scary. What happens if we attack all? They can either block the Brontodon, we kill the Search, which is very good for us, or they block the Branchwalker, go to 1. They probably just block the Branchwalker is the thing, but I think that's fine. What's my favourite Southern American dish? Huh, I'm not sure. I kind of just love Southern American food in general. I'm not sure I have, like, any particular favourites. I know that, like, whenever I visit Virginia, I eat very, very well. That's pretty good. They still have to not die to this Wildgrowth Walker. If they don't have a removal spell, they're going to have to chump it. So, do I just want to trophy this and go for lethal? Force their final card in hand to be a cast down somehow. If they had a cast down, they'd have used it already, right? Yeah, just go ahead and do this. Southern USA, Charlotte. I have Prometheus. I had American Biscuits like 3 times during my stay. That's so good. This is surprising. I'd have thought they'd have cast that so they could attack if they had that in hand. Anyway, this means we're ahead, right? Because we get back 2 things and they have nothing. What am I returning? I kind of want a Chupacabra in case they draw a threat. And then I want like a Jadelight Ranger. This seems good. You'd go Chup plus Squire, because that gives you the highest chance of casting 2 threats in the same turn, maybe? Alright, I'm gonna play both to play for a removal spell. Plays into Ritual of Set, but I'm not too worried about that. Just have to try and get them dead since they have better long game than us. I'm actually inclined to keep this on top just because it's a lethal threat. Weirdly. Means like if they Ritual of Set us, we can cast a couple things. What do I think is better, Trophy or Cast Down main? It depends what you're expecting to face. Personally, I prefer Trophy, because I think it's dramatically better in the mirror. It's better against mono red, where you just, like, have to be able to kill, Experimental Frenzy. But I can respect people playing Cast Down instead. Right, this is tough. If I cast the Chupacabra, I leave them dead if they draw a blank. I also present damage if they draw a Ritual of Set. They're through 2 of their, like, free boluses and 1 of their free Doom Whisperers. If they draw either of those, we're in trouble. Though I guess they don't get to use the Doom Whisperer at all, it's just a 6/6 player. So it's, like, specifically Bolas that's problematic. I'm just gonna cast this. Nice. It's pretty good for us. I have missed out on a bit of chat, sorry. I was busy finishing off that game. I actually don't like pecans very much, Prometheus. I'm just, like, not a big fan of, like, nuts and food in general, but... Yeah, we don't have refills in the UK. It's really trippy when you, whenever I go to the US and there's, like, everywhere has free refills. It's just, like, not a thing over here at all. See ya, Caius. Right, we're bringing in this Carnage Tyrant. This seems amazing. Am I meant to say something like pecan, Charlotte? I say pecan, but that's probably incorrect, right? Based on your response. See ya, Caius. Have a good day. It's nice having you around. Alright, Duresses seem good. I actually tend to take out Adventurous Impulse in these sorts of matchups because I'm bringing in like a bunch of Duresses against them. I kind of want to keep in the Chupacabras because they have Doom Whisperer and Nicol Bolas. Chupacabra is actually good here. I think Wildgrowth Walker is quite bad in this matchup. It did a lot of work that game, but it's so poor against Ritual of Set and Cast Down and such. Baby Vraska. Yeah, Baby Vraska doesn't have a lot of stuff to kill in this matchup, huh? That is true. Ooh, if I'm taking out the impulses, I need to bring in a 24th land. Otherwise, I'm going to be way too shy on mana with Carnage Tyrant in my deck. I also think Brontodon's not the best, but it killing Search for Azcanta is pretty important. I don't know, I might just try and like duress the Search for Azcantas instead, or blow them up with Planeswalkers. Brontodon's like just really awkward against their deck. It's like the whole thing where like we've tuned our deck against Jeskai, but it means our threat base is like pretty awkward against Grixis. Yeah, this Vraska also kills it, for sure. I'm going to keep one in. Let's try this. Oh my gosh. Gab, thank you so much. Welcome to everyone joining us. We're playing my PT 75 at the moment through a league. Currently a game up in our first match. Good to have y'all joining me. Alright. So the Brontodon definitely looking worse than the Vraska would have done in this hand. For sure. 100% win rate, I know, right? Can't lose a game, apart from possibly this one. To the battlements, oh my god. I am not like that big on small Vraska against control. I look at her more like a flexible removal spell. She's very good against Searcher Scanter though, specifically. It's possible I meant to keep them in against that deck. I've not actually played against the black control decks very much. In general. No! My precious hand is being torn asunder. Derek was hating on Small Vraska. I'm not like the biggest fan of Small Vraska, but I think she's decent. She's a way to like up your removal count without having like a bunch of dead cards in certain matchups. Why is everyone cutting Fine Broker? Is it possible it's just a sideboard card? I'm not a big fan of Fine Broker, just because it's like kind of mopey. It just feels like I want to be lower to the ground at the moment, hence like preferring Brontodon over Fine Broker. Like, if I don't find this Jadelight Ranger back, I'm kind of doing nothing for a while. It also feels like it's like a slight spew of the find, is the problem. I guess I can decide on it next turn, if I don't draw a threat. There's like no rush. If I don't draw a threat, I can find back the Ranger, and if I do draw a threat, I don't need to. Is Jadelight Ranger Jadine's invitational card? That's what I was calling it in testing. Whenever I'd cast it, I'd call it that. And she would roll her eyes. How's the mono-red matchup? I think it's pretty good. Especially with our list, where we have Brontodons and Wildgrowth Walkers. They're pretty good in the matchup. Oh, our hand is so awkward. It's like we have to have these Chupacabras in the deck, because Doom Whisperer and Bolas are both such a problem, but obviously they do not look great at the moment. So I can find back the Jadelight Ranger and run headfirst into a Ritual of Cert, or I can just cast a 2-2. Yeah, so I'm just casting a 2-2. Develop like a bit more pressure here. So we still have one in hand. Should like either of them die, we have a backup as well on top of that. Obviously discard Forest. I guess I could have discarded Chupacabra and found those back. Maybe that was better. It's interesting. Then I get to use the find nicely. Just like playing too fast, I guess, for once in my life. Okay. Gonna hold this land in case they play another Bolas. Ritual set doesn't do much here. We have a decent clock going. That card is somewhat obnoxious. What is it like? Oh my god. This is how you come 20th at a Pro Tour, I guess. Oh. Magic's just the easiest. How have the Adventurous Impulses been treating me? I like them a lot. I think they smooth out the deck a lot. You have to board them out sometimes when you board in lots of non-creatures. But they're basically always great game one. And then, like, there's plenty of post-board configurations where they're good too. Against, like, decks like this, you have to board them out because you're bringing in a million Duresses, but that's fine. Trying to think what matters more, having the 6th land for Carnage Tyrant or having a Finality. So we're gonna get a Vivien plus to dig for a Carnage Tyrant. Can you be lucky too? Being lucky is pretty great. I can find a land with Viv, yeah, but then if I don't draw a land for turn, I can't cast the Carnage Tyrant. I guess I probably still just discard the land, but like they have to kill some creatures here if they want to. Yeah, they have to kill creatures if they want to not die, in which case we can find a land, find back a Chupacabra, kill the bolus. So I mean, yeah, we have lethal, but we should still figure out like they could go land, Golden Demise, right? And then we don't have lethal anymore. In which case we should still figure out what's good. If opponent doesn't concede, assume there's a reason they're not conceding. Oh, they'd already played a land. I did not see that. Fair point. I wonder if Moment of Craving saves them then. Moment of Craving they'd like kill a Chupacabra, block a Brontodon, go to 1. In which case we definitely want the find in hand, because then we find a land off the Vivien, rebuy a Chupacabra, kill bolus. God, this list is so nice. I suspect Brad is right that we slept on Doom Whisperer, but other than that, I really like this list. I do think I want to try out Doom Whisperer at some point though. Oh no, if this was a forest, this hand would be very decent. Alright. This is good. Walker into Branchwalker. This is the guy who just beat Gab? Huh. Interesting. I kind of want this. I got a Branchwalker to dig us for lands. There's like very few matchups where I'm not happy to have this in my hand, right? At least the first copy. This hand was made for walking, and that's just what it will do. Incoming mono blue, and we just hate the fact we kept Finality on top. Just like max regrets. Managed to find the one matchup where we don't want it. I guess against Drakes it's like also pretty medium. Oh, it's Drakes, okay. Cool. Yeah, makes sense. Alright, that's a good draw. Hit a land, please. It's fine, this can dig for a land. Do I want to keep it? I do need to hit my 4th land. But I'd also like to be able to cast a spell next turn. Thanks for the bits, Varus. Appreciate it. Appreciate the cheers. So, like, game 1 in this matchup is pretty tough. So I'm kind of tempted to dump this in the yard and just, like, cross my fingers to get lucky. And, like, a lot of the things that aren't lands are explore creatures, right? Which are decent here, too. This might be incorrect. I'm gonna dump this in the yard, though. It might be a bit greedy. I think if this was, like, a better matchup, I would keep that on top. But, the Phoenix matchup is, like, maybe just the hardest matchup. So I think I'd prefer just to get a bit lucky instead. Like, if we hit a land here for the Chupacabra, we're just in such a good position. Sick. I would prefer to just get lucky. It's what I do on this stream, Prometheus. It's just what I do, you know? Didn't trade off the Electromancer. They might have something kind of busted to do here. Return a Phoenix to play. We do have a Contempt though, just to keep pushing damage. So I think we're in a really good spot here. Yeah, still on no Llanowar. I don't like Llanowar elves very much in this archetype. I think it's fine. Like, I don't think it's unreasonable to play elves, but I've personally not enjoyed it very much. So I attack all, they probably trade with the Branchwalker, and then I get to find it back, cast it, immediately redevelop my board, and just use Contempt to keep pushing damage. I think that's the plan. I assume they have to trade with the Branchwalker now. They're just so far behind if they don't. Wow. They just go to like 6. It's so bad for them. They get to hold open Contempt for their next Drake. I think I'm just going to let the Electromancer live. I just want to remove a Drake from play, I suspect. Giving them the burst of mana is awkward, but they've already used up so many cantrips. I'm assuming their hand by this point must have a bunch of Drakes in it. Yeah, they will to kill Wildgrowth Walker at some point soon. They've also just got to like stop themselves dying too. Interesting. So I could Contempt the Electromancer right now. Otherwise they can go land and then flash back the Bacon Bolt. Or I could let them go land, flash back the bolt, because then I get to use my find on 2 creatures. You like the Contempt here? I'm unsure. Yeah, if they do that, I find both creatures, but like if I Contempt now, I put them to 1, which seems pretty amazing. I want to get them to 1, I agree with that. Like, you are the black-green deck is the aggressor in the matchup. You just need to get your opponent dead, because they have better late game than you. Because the Drakes just, like, grow over the course of the game so much. You just want to kill them as quickly as possible. So I think getting them to 1 is worth a lot. And then we get to have 3 lethal threats. Ooh, they have a shock? Interesting. That's really good for them. I don't want to Branchwalker just so I have a shot at landing the Carnage Tyrant next turn. It means I don't get to pump my Wildgrowth Walker, which is sad. How many spells do they have in the yard? They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If we lead with Walker, we can potentially gain life, but they have the Bacon Bolt to answer it anyway, so I think I'm just going to Branchwalker instead. So they need a blocker this turn, and then they need to find a way to beat this Carnage Tyrant. There are a lot of things that walk. There sure are. Please no Phoenix this turn. Please. Don't Radiquiter. Thank you. Alright. We either get the Electromancer out of play, or we put them to 2, which makes the Carnage Tyrant really problematic for them. Well, the Carnage Tyrant puts them to 1 if they block it with a Drake. Yeah, this is the list I wrote about, and I had a good result with at the PT. For those who would like to read my article, check out the link in chat. It is pretty great. Yeah, we have a memorial to get it back to, which is nice. So I'm just jamming. I want to force this trade, put them to 1, and then I'm going to cast 2 lethal threats. And gain some life at the same time to make sure we don't randomly die to like a bunch of maximized velocities and stuff anytime soon. Alright. 2 threats. Both of them kill them. Obviously they have the Bacon Bolt to deal with 1, but... Okay. Still have to answer the Jadelight. So now they die to removal off the top. Even if we whiff, we get to buy back the Carnage Tyrant and set that up. So good. This card is so great. Oh my god. This list is so great. Awesome. I'm going to quickly check my sideboard guide, because I had this all written down for the PT. So according to the sideboard guide, which you can find in my article, I bought out basically all the expensive stuff. You bought out Trophy, because giving your opponent mana is so bad in this matchup. They use the extra mana really well. And then I like to board in Cast Downs and Contempts to deal with their Drakes, and more threats. So this is how I was boarding for the PT for the matchup. Yeah, Scavenger is very good in the matchup. The fact it can exile a Phoenix, but it can also just like attack as a 4/3, which lets it attack into a Drake, which is really important. Depending on how we see them board and how controlling and big they go, we might bring in some number of Duress or bring some Carnage Tyrants back in. But in the dark, I like boarding like this way, and just being like as aggressive and lean as possible. You think the Carnage Tyrants are really good from your side. Interesting. So in testing, we found... So we only tested out like one Drake's list against this. So like, it's possible the sample size is just too low. But we were finding Carnage Tyrant always felt too slow. And like, they were really able to turn the corner and kill you before you could play the Tyrants. But you think Carnage Tyrant is scary too? Maybe, yeah. Maybe post-board they're better. Maybe post-board they're better because you have a lot more removal. Like cast downs and stuff to keep the Drakes under control. I could see that being the case. Yeah, Pascal Bjorn's list is also slower. You don't think Brontodon does anything? That's fair. Vraska kills Enigma Drake and Electromancer. Alright. I'm gonna bring these in. I'm not convinced by this, but I want to try them. I'm trying to make the matchup better, figure out how to board for it, so... We were keeping the Brontodons in just because we were treating the matchup as like post-board, you just want to swarm them. And just like having a 3/4 for free was like weirdly good. Because it let you just go wide and cast 2 spells per turn really easily. We were actually finding that was working decently for us in the post-board games. keep this. Yeah, we have all our Contempts and Chupacabras in, and I trimmed on Vivien's a lot. For that reason, I agree Vivien is not great in the matchup. Bottom this, want to find a 2-drop desperately. If we miss on a 2-drop though, at least we have this cast down, so we can deal with an Electromancer before that card gets out of hand. Yeah, very happy to spend my turn 2 killing this instead. Pretty important. Thanks, Squirmit. I'm actually planning on changing the overlay at some point. Maybe getting like something nice commissioned. But I'm glad you like it as it is at the moment. Adventurous Impulse. Do I want that? I think I want that. I think that's better than a random card. So I can cast it alongside the Branchwalker next turn. Can dig for a Chupacabra or something. We have to have it be like autumnal themed here though, Squirmit, right? Be like irresponsible for it not to be. Generating some decent pressure. So casting Impulse after Branchwalker is a bit, or Impulse before Branchwalker is correct, right? Because we want to get the most value out of the Branchwalker trigger. Yeah. This makes sense. We also, if we find a Wildgrowth Walker, we want to cast it before this. Holy cow, that's so good. Nice Arclight Phoenix. Nice Arclight Phoenix you have over there. Yeah, it also finds a Scavenger, exactly. This is great. This card is so good. I love the Adventurous Impulses so much. They're basically demonic tutors when I'm casting them, right? So far we're 2 for 2 on Adventurous Impulse being demonic tutor. Huh, that's interesting, Bobbin. I've been finding the matchup kind of tough, but I guess I just want to land my Vraska, use my mana efficiently. She doesn't do a huge amount here, but I'm gonna plus. I don't think I'm sacrificing a permanent though. I kind of want 6 mana in play in case I draw a Tyrant next turn, or in case I want to cast both of these. Adventurous Impulse equals literal Ancient Stirrings for any card. That is a generous description. Ooh, so good. Alright. Lead with Branchwalker, because if we draw a land, we want to sack a land to Vraska. Whereas if we don't, things are like a bit less certain. Ooh, another Contempt. You just hold the Scavenger. I know, we kept 2 Tyrants in, rest in pieces. I know, I normally board them out, but people were saying in chat that from the other side of the matchup, they were actually finding them scary when they were playing Vieren's list. Where Vieren's list is a bit slower, so I'm trying them out a bit more. I already have a Contempt in hand. But Contempt is very, very good in the matchup. I think I'm going to top it. I'm then going to play the Scavenger and I'm going to plus Vraska. I know I could keep the Scavenger for the trigger, but I think I'd rather just get another threat on board. Pressure them as much as possible. I think the 2 life matters more than Shrinking Drakes. I'm not like 100% sure. Because it only shrinks half their Drakes. I'm going to shrink the Drakes. I think that's good. So we're definitely plussing. Am I sacking a land? Oh, that's fair, Bobbin. Shrinking the free mana Drake with Vraska on board isn't very relevant, for sure. For sure. Yeah, we get punished a bit if we draw a Carnage Tyrant for doing this, but... We also, like, very likely to just be casting Contempt next turn anyway, right? God, I really hope they don't have Star of Extinction. That would be brutal. Huh. This is fine. Sure. Nice. So I want to push Vraska closer to ultimate. Are we minusing Vraska, Bobbin? I kind of want to try and ultimate Vraska next turn. They're so far from dead. That trying to ultimate Vraska seems really nice to me. Just like make all of our creatures lethal for the rest of the game. That's fair, Bobbin. That's fair. All roads lead to Rome. We are very far ahead at the moment for sure, Heat Checker. I just don't want to, like, throw away the game, you know? Sack Branchwalker, draw 2 cards, jeez. I'm gonna plus. I'm like 100% plussing. I think I'm just gonna pass with Contempt up. I mean, we can use the Star of Extinction. I guess that's like pretty good against plussing Vraska too, though. If they have Star, we'd want to have Reaper in play to like recover cards, right? Right, pass the turn. I guess I could Contempt so that I can get an attack in. Playing around maximized velocity is probably pretty silly. Wow, so many melodies. I am entranced. Alright. Incoming, dive down to punish me. Yeah, the melodies are really nice, for sure. Yeah, just being max punished for not minusing on the Scavenger. Gross. There is justice in this world. Alright. Yes, we are off the Vraska ult plan, huh? Alright, minus the Scavenger. Play these 2. That definitely went about as poorly as it could have. We're still, like, quite far ahead, but... We get to start, like, we get to, like, sacrifice this Walker, draw 2. Ooh, so many creatures. Like, it's going to be very hard to lose this game from here, even with me apparently not playing amazingly. Another Scavenger is nice. I kind of want to find land drops, but I guess we keep this. Yeah, opponent's done. Cool. Opponent is fed up of me taking forever to make plays, understandably. Alright, this is great. 2-0. We've beaten Grixis, Midrange, and Blue-Red Drakes. Blue-Red Phoenix. I find it really frustrating that now there's actually like a Drakes deck and a Phoenix deck, because I can't just use those words interchangeably anymore. You think Mystic is the most underplayed card in Standard right now? Mystic is really good. The Young Flyromancer is like a scary magic card. It lets you win from a lot of weird positions. Just like flood the board with 1/1 flyers. Alright. Oh my gosh, Crespio. Thank you everyone for joining the stream, by the way. Watching right now. For, just a heads up for everyone who is subbed, because I have to mention this occasionally or else no one ever knows. We have a subs-only Discord. If you link your Twitch and Discord accounts, you should be able to find it pretty easily. This hand is kind of mopey, but I keep. Kind of spins its wheels a lot. Some green blacklist hands are kind of like this. This is what happens when you don't draw a Wildgrowth Walker, right? I've been liking Trophy. You board them out in a bunch of matchups, but I think it's perfectly reasonable to have the main. Wow, we're so good at this. We're so lucky. Just can never lose. Yeah, suddenly our deck's perfect. Literally unbeatable. Let's Branchwalker into a land. Please, come on. We're so bad at this. Literally can't win. Probably gonna keep this. I can go an Impulse into a land for a 2-drop, right? This is really bad against Spell Pierce, but really, really bad against Spell Pierce. But I'm gonna keep it on top because it gives us the best shot at a land next turn. What matchups do you keep Trophy in? Trophy's very good in the mirror. Trophy's very good against mono red. Trophy's like decent against the mono white aggro decks because you can kill Tribunal to get your Wildgrowth Walker back. I like Trophy a lot. Alright, I am ready to get this countered. Nice. Yeah, kills Bananish Marshal, which that's worse than Cast Down there though, Crepio, to be fair. It's much worse against Bananish Marshal than Cast Down would be. They tap the Wildgrowth Walker, deal. Now we got our land set up for Chups. If they want to trade here, that's fine. If they want to take free, that's also fine. I don't really care either way. Hey Matt, good evening. Oh wow, this is such an unreasonable draw. Just like the most unreasonable draw. I don't actually want this, right? I've already got a million things to cast at this mana cost. It answers Obsession, but so does Chupacabra. Also, they're just like super dead. They just have nothing freed. They're just like the actual deadest. That's fair, Squirmit. I don't know, I don't really care about either of their creatures is the thing with the Wildgrowths active. So I'm not too worried about that. If one of them had an Obsession on, I would care about Dive Down, but... Just with the Wildgrowths active, the only things that matter are Tempest Djinn and Obsession, right? Those are the only things that can, like, meaningfully do anything on this board. Alright, take one. So they probably have an Essence Scatter here. Or a 2-mana Retort, yeah. I think I'm just going to cast Chupacabra, because I've got a backup. I kind of want to try and get this Storm Tamer off the board, so that I can more easily kill something next turn. So I guess it's pretty bad doing this pre-combat against Dive Down, because then they can block with it. So I'm probably meant to attack first and then Chupacabra. That was pretty bad. Not punished though. Never punished. Alright. What does my sideboard guide say here? So my sideboard guide says we bring in some Duresses, some cast downs, some expensive awkward answers to obsession creatures, Scavenger, and Detection Tower. And then we take out Impulses, because we're bringing in the 24th land, and lots of non-creature spells. We take out expensive stuff. And Midnight Reaper. So this is what my sideboard guide says. Take out the Walkers. Yeah, the Planeswalkers are pretty bad. Agreed. Oh, the Wildgrowth Walkers. No, the Wildgrowth Walkers are amazing. They gain you so much life. They're so big. I love them. Obviously, they can counter the Explore creatures to keep you off the Explore triggers, but if they're doing that, they're not countering, like, your removal, or... Vivien kills their stuff. She's also just really expensive. It's possible she's better than Vraska's Contempt. But isn't Vivien better than Golgari Queen? Golgari Queen kills everything that Vivien does for 1 less mana, right? So I think I prefer Golgari Queen by a touch. It's also possible that Vivien is better than the Finality. Bronto isn't great. It's not amazing. Like, just having a bunch of 2 and 3 mana spells lets you double spell into their counter magic more easily, and it kills Obsession, which is the only card that really matters. Obsession and Tempest Djinn. It's possible we want the 4th Duress. I'm only bringing in 3 at the moment, but I might just be, like, underrating how important the card is. Right, let's try this. This is a fine sideboard strat, even if it's maybe a card or 2 off. Nah, I like Chupacabra a lot in this matchup, I think. Right, this hand's a bit clunky just because it doesn't have any, like, turn 2 or 3 removal. But it's very clearly a keep, I think. Opponent's mulling to 5, of course. Alright, please don't have Obsession. If they have an Obsession, they can still very easily win off their multi-5. Yeah, I've not played the matchup that much from either side, so I could imagine that I'm, like, missing some stuff here. I'm gonna hold the Duress. I don't really care if this Squire gets countered. I kind of just want to, like, get a threat into play. I do not know that person, Tom. What color would I prefer to play if I could only play one color? Very easily blue. Although I also like black decks a lot. I think black decks are pretty great. This Squire can't actually attack because of Trickster. I get to go Ranger this turn, and then next turn go Duress Ranger, though, which is nice. If they counter this, I get to attack for 1. Next turn I can go Duress plus Ranger, and then I can just start killing all their stuff. One by one. That is fair, Charlotte. The correct answer is red, so that you can actually still compete in Magic tournaments. It does make limited awkward when you can only play mono red decks for the rest of your life. That is a thing, but interesting. So they have Sleep, Essence Scatter, Tempest Djinn. I'm not too worried about Sleep because I have so much removal. There's so many lands away from it. I think I just take the Scatter. Trophy. I already have infinite removal. I still kind of want to keep that. You're kind of surprised they didn't board out the Sleep. I cannot comment. I have not played the matchup enough to know how good or bad Sleep is, but yeah, I think I'm going to top this. It's not ideal giving them a land, but I just don't know how they ever beat this much removal. At the very least, I'm definitely like topping it the first time because I want a 4/3 in play. Blocks the Trickster nicely. You can either cast Tempest Djinn and it immediately dies, or they can pass the turn and we get to kill the Storm Tamer with our Vraska. Could also have plus there, I guess. That's probably just as good, right? Just plussing. Up to 1,000,000 loyalty. Unsure, Zeus. There must be some other things like that. I know there used to be counter magic in other colors. I have like a black counter spell in my commander deck. Alright, easy 3060. Oh my gosh. Easy 3060. Who needs Llanowar elves? Oh, that's a fair point, Charlotte. Unconditional burn in red. Did I 6-0 both drafts? I went 5-1 across the two drafts. I 2-1 to the first draft with Selesnya aggro, and 3-0 the second draft with Boros aggro. And then I went 6-3-1 in Constructed. Although, I think one of the matches I lost in Constructed I probably threw. It was kind of annoying too, because it was on like a really bad matchup. So I'd have felt very happy to have won the matchup. Well, I think my list is better for that matchup than most lists. It was against Green-White Path of Discovery, which I think is like traditionally an awful matchup for Black-Green, but we have Brontodons, which help a lot. 6-3-1 Bullwinkle. Alright, let's go on the play. That sounds great. Wildgrowth Walker into Explore Creature. All you need. Path is a terrible magic card. I mean, it's not a great magic card, but it's very good in the green-white deck. Intentional or unintentional? Unintentional. It was against White Weenie. We had like a half-hour long game 2. Just like super grindy and long. Didn't finish game 3 in time. Alright, my list is not great in the mirror. That is one thing that must be said about my list. So this is a bit of a scary opening from the opponent. Apparently they're just not doing anything though. So that's nice. Yeah, they gotta have something good on 4. I have to assume to keep a hand of no explore creatures. I know Vraska isn't seeing much play nowadays. It might just be a Chupacabra, which would be fairly annoying. So this is the one downside to this list. We've gained a lot of percentage points in the aggressive matchups, the way we've built it. And I think like a lot of percentage points against Jeskai control too. But the mirror is tough. Yep. Oh my god, Vraska is so hard to beat when she comes down on a nearly empty board like this. Are elves more important than a grindy top end to mirrors? I mean, elves have like upsides and downsides in the mirror. I have to dump this, right? I have to just dig for lands with my squires. Like, when I was playing the matchup with Jade, we were finding that, like, for every game you'd win by, like, running over your opponent with explosive elf draws, you'd have games where you're, like, losing percentage points drawing elves late. But the games where you lose to elves do feel crushing. I can kill their walker and play Viv. Yeah, I could do that. I kind of don't want to ramp them quite yet. I'm not too worried about them plussing Vraska a couple times, because they don't really want to sack permanents at the moment. What's the thought behind Impulse? It just smooths out your draws more. It is very good at helping you find Wildgrowth Walker, which is one of your most important cards, the way we've constructed the deck. Or finding explore creatures to pair with your Wildgrowth Walker. Like, the curve of turn 2 Wildgrowth, turn 3 Jadelight is so crushing against the aggressive decks that we just wanted to ensure that could happen as much as possible. Is a big part of it. Yeah, this version's very good against the aggressive decks. Bullwinkle. Why drop the Tyrant? We need land drops to cast the Tyrant. Land drops are great. I'm going to cast Vivien here. It lets them get another Vraska plus, but I kind of want to start doing something proactive. Not just using like 2 mana to kill their Vraska. Falling really far behind that way. Do I want a land or a Chupacabra? Land ensures I can go Vraska plus Trophy next turn. Whereas Chupacabra is the most powerful card option. I think I just want to take a Chupacabra and be greedy. Chupacabra doesn't kill the Tyrant they're dropping next turn. That's a fair point. The fact they didn't sack anything to Vraska means they probably have a Tyrant they wanted to ensure. But they're casting the Tyrant though, it means we get to get another Vivien plus, which is nice. There is the Tyrant. Right on time. Almost. Oh my gosh, DC Sports, that's absurd. Good luck in the draft. Interesting. Alright, I'm now slightly regretting not grabbing a land. The problem is if we see a Tyrant off this... Yeah, this is the downside to not taking a land last time. Now we can't take Tyrant. That's the downside, right? That kind of sucks. We do have a Tyrant in the yard for our find, though. So I don't think it's the end of the world. I'm definitely taking the land. Yeah, we have a Tyrant in the yard for our find, so it's not the end of the world. So I can go Chupacabra the Jadelight, Trophy the Vraska. Taking the Tyrant, I mean, we literally cannot cast the Tyrant at the moment is the problem. As much as I'd like to do that. Finality to keep them off 6. I'm not too interested in doing that. I think I just want to Trophy the Vraska. Before she can get any more value. And then, Chupacabra or something. I certainly don't think Finalitying is bad. Gives us a 4/5. Yeah. I'm just gonna Trophy. I think this is the best option. They also don't get a land this way because they don't want to shuffle away the Tyrant, which is nice. Isn't Vraska better than Chups here? I guess if they're tapping out for a Tyrant, they don't get to attack Vraska. You're right. I think I agree. You don't kill the Vraska anyway with the attacker. This is a 0/1 on combat. It doesn't force a shuffle. They get to choose. So they choose not to shuffle so they can keep the Tyrant on top. Because the Tyrant's really important. So we're in like a bit of trouble, but we got some stuff going. We can use Find to get back our Tyrant. And they don't have much left in the tank, whereas we have 2 Planeswalkers active. Alright, let's start with this. Yeah, I believe we're currently a bit ahead, but it could certainly go either way at the moment. Right, we can take the Wildgrowth Walker. I believe that is the correct choice. Try and hit a land with this Branchwalker. Yeah, this is the downside of their build, right? This is where we gain advantage in these mirrors. Is that, like, sometimes they're just gonna have a bunch of mana dorks. So I'm gonna get back to Carnage Tyrant. I'm unsure what I'm doing with this Vraska plus. It might just be nothing. I kind of want as much toughness in play as possible to protect my Vivien, right? Is the thing. Sack Squire to play around Finality. That's fair. I think I'm just going to sack nothing, though. Maybe that's wrong. Like, we are giving up the chance at a card, but kind of just want as much toughness in place that if they don't have Finality, we can keep Vivien high up. Doesn't sound like a bad world to be in, Cambo. Alright, is that a super dead? They don't have a Contempt? Or a trophy? Yep. Mana Dork. Who needs Mana Dorks when you have good cards? They had like Mana Dork into Fast Planeswalker and then they just drew a bunch of Mana Dorks. This is what happens. Sometimes you get crushed by the Mana Dorks and sometimes they fled out on them and it like balances out in the long term, I think. Alright, how was I boarding for this matchup at the PT? I was taking out 3 Seekers Squires and the Brontodons. I'm quite happy. I love this deck. I dearly love this deck. I'm really happy with how we built it. So this was how I was boarding at the PT. I think it's fine to board in some Duress if you think they're really Planeswalker heavy. But my opponent has 1,000,000 dorks, so they're probably on the 4 Carnage Tyrant plan, which I think makes Duress a bit worse. So if we see a lot of non-creature top end in this game, I would consider taking out like a Wildgrowth Walker and an Adventurous Impulse for a couple Duresses. Side out a land. Land drops are pretty important. We bought it in an extra 6-drop. I think it's fine to have the extra land. It's certainly not amazing, but remember that time when I played white weenie / red? Wasn't that the best? That was considerably worse than how I'm feeling right now, Phil. I love Wildgrowth Walker in the mirror. I think the card gets too much flack. I think, so like, 2/3 of the games, Walker does very little in the mirror other than, like, each Chupacabra hits. And then, like, the other third of the games, it, like, completely invalidates your opponent's Carnage Tyrants, or, like, lives through Finality, or does something completely absurd. That's really important. And, like, so many of the cards do so little in the mirror that I just love, like, the upside Wildgrowth Walker can have. Yeah, it's one of the few cards that lives through a Finality, which is really nice, for sure. It's a very, like, important point. It makes your Finalities more crushing, and makes your opponent's Finalities more beatable. It's also really good with Midnight Reaper. I've had games in the mirror on, like, boards with very few Wildgrowth Walkers where you could just die to your Midnight Reaper. You, like, have a Midnight Reaper with 6 creatures out, and your opponent Finalities, and you take 7, and so, like, the life gain's really nice against that, too. This hand is really awkward. This hand is staggeringly awkward. Punished by Memorial, yep. I don't love the Memorial in general. This is why I only play the 1. You just, like, don't want to have to mull hands like this, but ugh. I am leaning towards mulliganing, which I don't love doing. Well, yeah, we get 2 draws to make the hand good. It's true. It's really close. It's really, really close. On the play, I would, like, snap mulligan. I'm gonna keep, but I'm not in love with it. I think this could definitely go south. This gives us the huge upside to complain about variance, indeed. Alright, interesting. I'm actually gonna play the Cemetery now. Because now I can draw Swamp, and Swamp lets me go Branchwalker Ranger. Do you like Memorial? Is it worth it over Finebroker? I just don't want to play Finebroker. I think Finebroker's already mopey. Memorial is not great. It's like mostly free. Occasionally this happens and you feel sad. Alright, well they have a slow draw 2 in their deck with 1,000,000 mana orcs, so that's good for us. That's less good for us. This card is so hard to beat. God, Midnight Reaper is so good. It's like one of the best cards you can have in the mirror. I think it's correct to play this, right? Because then we can draw Overgrown Tomb and still cast our free drop. And not take damage. And, like, get our tap land into play. We can't kill any of their creatures anyway. Oh my god. Right on time. I don't know which ones these are on paper. I just really like the art. I found it when I was looking through Modo for nice swamp art. I guess I'm just rangering. Just like dig for something good. Reaper is very good. Reaper is also something I can find back. So I could dig a bit deeper. Keeping Reaper lets me go Reaper plus Trophy next turn though, potentially. I think I want to keep the Reaper on top. I'm not like in love with it, but I think it's fine. It's good enough. And we can Trophy their Reaper, play our own Reaper next turn. And die to their Carnage Tyrant anyway. Alright. Cast my Midnight Reaper. Past the turn. I mean, we hope to do that, Bobbin. Or they just cast a Finality and keep a 3-5 and a 7-6. And we feel very awkward about the situation. At least if they Finality, we don't have to spend a trophy on their Reaper. Just like let their Reaper die, shrug and move on with our lives. We get to top deck Detection Tower, that would be nice. Detection Tower is like real busted in the mirror. Like breaks the Carnage Tyrant games wide open. Who's the artist on that swamp? It is Wang. I'm not gonna try and pronounce that name. Like Chuzhong or something? I did try and pronounce that name. I lied. Chuzhong? Did I get anyone with Tower at the PT? I did. I actually played a Detection Tower mirror twice. Both my black-green opponents had Detection Tower. One of those was because it was Aaron Barrich and we were playing the same 75, and I got him real good with the tower. He also got me real good with the tower. Back-to-back games. Alright, I just let this happen, right? No point trophying anything here. Trophy kills Planeswalkers in the mirror. Trophy's great in the mirror. I don't know why everyone's hating on Trophy nowadays. Trophy's great. Killing Planeswalkers in the mirror is important. Did I win the car ride battle? We didn't actually ride in the same car. I guess we rode from like the hotel to the venue in the same car. But you know, that gargantuan 1 mile ride. Alright. Come on, Detection Tower. Please. Would like a Detection Tower. I did know what you meant. I did know what you meant. I was being awkward. Am I just plussing Vivien? Dig as far as possible for a tower, hopefully soak up 9 damage. I guess that's the plan. Yep, Vivien search for tower. It's all we can do at this point. We're too far behind to block, so that's actually decent. That gains us some time, gains us some time. Wildgrowth Walker is actually acceptable. What am I discarding? I need Walker plus Branchwalker plus Jadelight in hand. I need land in hand. I need Trophy, I think. So it's like Jadelight versus Vivien versus Finality. I think I want the land just to guarantee I can go Walker plus double creature next turn. Chuck Viv. Maybe. Viv is so good if we stabilize is the problem. We're exploring a bunch next turn. I guess that's true. We have a very good shot at hitting a land next turn. Between draw step and explores. I'm going to be greedy. I deserve some greed at this point in this game. Our only tap lands out of our deck too. Oh my lord. Another dino. Yep. Come on, detection tower. Uh-huh. Right. This is probably not good enough, but I guess we're doing it anyway. So that's what's happening. We're gaining 9 life, going to 12. I guess we're just topping, hoping they don't have a removal spell somehow. Even if they do have one removal spell, we can double block the Tyrant. Yeah, we want to get as many counters as possible, that is true. We need to guarantee at least 6 power between our non-Wildgrowth Walker creatures. So, like, we might still lose this game, but I'd like to present this game as an argument in favor for Wildgrowth Walker in the mirror. This Wildgrowth Walker is giving us a chance, which is more than basically any other card in our deck would do. Maybe we'll see what we do next turn, depending on what happens this turn. But depends a lot on what our opponent does. Also, we might just die, in which case I'm not wasting the mental energy. Yeah, Wildgrowth Walker is excellent. I agree. See. Oh my god, they have another finality. Yep. Please don't have removal. If you don't have removal, we're actually okay. We're actually okay if you don't have removal. As I get down my second Wildgrowth Walker. Ah, they're attacking. Interesting. So I just take down the small dino, right, with these two. And just, like, cross my fingers they still don't have removal. And take 11. You're suspicious? I'm like a bit suspicious. I'm a bit suspicious. But I also think we don't really have enough leverage to play around anything, so. I also don't expect, like, cast downs and in post-board. I guess they could have trophy. I think if they'd have trophy, they'd just, like, snap attack, though, and not even ponder. So here we take 9, 10, 11. I just don't think I can afford to, like, throw the Wildgrowth Walker into 2 with them drawing Finality next turn. I think I'm just going to block like this. I think this is a good block. I die to trophy, but otherwise, I think I have a very good shot at winning this game. Cast down, what? That's a surprising card to have in. Oh well. I guess it's the same against this Hero's Trophy. I don't think we could afford to play around that much there, though, with another Finality coming. I just like having the second Wildgrowth Walker in play gives us such a good shot at winning the game. And not having it leaves us in like a pretty awkward position, I think. So I think I like just doing those blocks. Obviously didn't work out, but... Right. That was very close. Like, we almost got back in that game. That's fair, Cambo. That's a good point. I've heard, I know Tixus said he boards out Doom Whisperers in the mirror. I assume most people board out Doom Whisperers in the mirror, but that is a fair point. I'm gonna run it back like this. I don't think I want Duresses. We haven't seen that many Planeswalkers from them still. I think they're just on the 4 Carnage Tyrant plan. That's true, Squirmat. And the second Wildgrowth Walker is going to gain enough life to invalidate the Carnage Tyrant. Maybe you're right. Maybe we're far enough ahead just to chuck the whole board in front. I think it's kind of tough, though. Tough decision. This is not a great hand, but I'm going to keep... No, we have plenty of removal to pair with the tower. Like, we died with a trophy in hand, right? How greedy am I going to be? I could keep the Jadelight, or I can keep a land. Overgrown Tomb. Branchwalker gives us, like, 3 looks at a land for the Jadelight. I think I want to be greedy and just, like, ensure I can curve out here. Yeah, we get 3 looks at our 3rd land, which I think is pretty good. This might be greedy. I like it. Alright, no Llanowar Elf. Land, please. I also like the Jadelight Rangers. If we get to our 3rd land, the Jadelight Ranger like makes us really likely to hit our 4th. So I think that taking the Jadelight's very appealing from that perspective. Are elves good in the mirror? Maybe. So my current position on elves is they're like fine in the mirror. There are games where they're crushing, and there are games where they just like you draw them late and they look really embarrassing. I think they're probably better in the mirror than not having them, but I don't think it's by like a huge margin, honestly. Alright, this has to go in our graveyard. We have to draw a land. Okay, through 2 of our 3 looks at a land. I still think it's fine to take the Ranger there. Like, the thing is, if we take in a land instead, we would and we don't draw a land next turn, we'd be missing our 4th land drop most likely, so nice. Detection Tower is very good in Golgari, I think. Awesome. I kind of want to offer the trade. I have this Find in hand. I don't have a Midnight Reaper. I kind of want to be able to go Vraska minus next turn, potentially. I think this trade is good for me. Obviously, I'm trading a 3-2 for a 2-1, but... Awesome. They just took it. That's great for us. Also an upside to attacking, right? Find Finality. That's a good one. Yeah, being able to remove Tyrant is very strong. I agree. I'm not sure I'd go like as far as saying everyone should have one in the board, but I think in Golgari having one in the board is really powerful. I mean, you play a colorless land in your sideboard, so it's like, sure you have a colorless land in your 75, but your mana base in your main deck is built to cast all your spells reliably, right? So it's fine. Right, so I go Vraska minus here. Like, I'd be nervous about having one in my main deck and, like, messing up my mana base for it, but when it's coming in out of the board, you're not actually hurting your mana that much. Yeah, you treat it as a spell a lot of the time, for sure. Oh, Reaper Swing for 6 is nice. You might be right, Heat Checker. Maybe that's better. I kind of like the idea of having Vraska on board so I can start, like, divinating with my Reaper, but you might be right. Swinging for 6 with the Reaper is really appealing, for sure. I think Immortal Sun's actually fine in the mirror, for what it's worth. Immortal Sun's like a pretty reasonable card to bring in the mirror. Just like shutting down your opponent's Planeswalkers is really powerful. I really want to hit my land drop this turn, so I guess I'm Jadelighting on that basis. Yard. God damn it. That's so bad for us. I guess I just have to dump that. I could keep it. It's like likely to draw my land next turn so that I can trophy them. Trophy like a Vivien or something. So I could keep it. It's kind of tough. Really unsure. Yeah, I think we yard. It's really close. Keeping on top lets me dig for my 5th land drop and then trophy them. Like, essentially puts me 2 cards deeper towards my next land. And hitting land drops is what I really need to do here. We're like pretty decently ahead on board. The Reaper also kind of helps us hit land drops though if needed. Put this in the yard, but I'm not convinced that's correct. It's kind of a tough one. Oh yeah, that deck is terrifying when it works. The Nihirump deck is very good against Golgari too. I know people were playing it a lot at one point just to beat up on Golgari. It seemed sweet. Alright, we have a 4/3 back to protect our Vraska. Even if they kill the 4/3, they can't kill our Vraska. We get to untap Vraska and play. Maybe she can do something sweet with Midnight Reaper. Obviously we're a bit at risk of falling behind here, but... They're also not very close to casting Carnage Tyrant, so that's good for us. Trophy. Alright. Returning Branchwalker, Jadelight. So they have Branchwalker and Jadelight in hand. Okay. Interesting. So I really want to keep this Jadelight in play because it blocks the Chupacabra really well. I guess my plan is cast Reaper pass. That's really uninspiring. I could cast Reaper, find back some stuff. Reaper attacks, sack Jadelight. I really want to protect my Vraska is the thing. I feel like Vraska is very close to doing some cool stuff. I also kind of want to hold this so I can potentially Finality, maybe. This game is tough. This game is like the hardest one. Like, all our decisions have been kind of marginal and uninspiring. Protect the Queen. Yeah, Golgari Queen's certainly not amazing here, but you like Reaper plus Find to protect from Tyrant? That's reasonable. I think I am going to Find. I just kind of want to use my mana here. Sets up nicely for doing some stuff next turn. Gives us a Branchwalker we can sack to Golgari Queen to start digging through our deck, which is appealing. Alright, Sego. Hold back Jadelight to protect the Queen. Hey, Phil knows what guild is the best guild. You can't blame him. I'm also a big Simic fan. Also most excited for Simic, because it's the guild that needs like the most help in my cube. Desperately need more good Simic gold cards for my cube. I can sack my lands to look for more lands. Reid has the tech. Well, they aren't casting a Carnage Tyrant, so that's nice. That's less nice. That's quite rude, in fact. Rude. I guess I now get to start attacking. Which is decent. Take for lands. That is not a land. Come on deck. You can do better. I believe in you. Land, thank you. Kinda want to ditch this. It's like pretty low impact, right? At this point. It sucks that we've been through 2 finalities already. Like, this is nice of the Reaper. Certainly very nice of the Reaper. Just like have more bodies, we can swing at the opponent, but we know we're casting Tyrant next turn anyway. Unsure. You can't wait to get dumpstered by Simic Merfolk decks on Arena, jeez. That is the future ahead of us. Yeah, that's a good one. I have this trophy though. Honestly, doesn't do much against this board at the moment. They really need to find an answer to the Reaper more than anything, right? This card is just like making the board state really hard for them. Well, there we go. We can answer the Viviens. That's not too scary. I guess I'm just casting my Carnage Tyrant. I kind of want to trade off some of the board in case they find a Midnight Reaper of their own. It's the thing. So I guess I meant to attack. Also trading off some of the board makes our Carnage Tyrant better. That's relevant too, right? Just trade off as much as possible to make Tyrant as good as possible. Trading down the Jadelight sucks, but I guess this is good. We have a bunch of answers to Vivien, which is nice. We have a bunch of answers to push our Carnage Tyrant through as well, if they don't have their own Tyrant. So kind of got some good stuff going on here. I don't want to leave Moma. Not many people play those cards anymore free, but that's a valid point. That is a valid point. Holding back like one creature because of Eldest Reborn and Plaguecrafter is probably a good idea. For sure. I think I agree with that, even though not many people play those anymore. Like, losing them to them would be really embarrassing, and the opponent hasn't had a chance to play them yet. Oh, awesome. Good luck at the GP. I'd like consider including a Golden Demise on the board, and oh, thank you so much, Brent, for the donation. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you so much. The support means a lot to me. I would consider putting a Golden Demise on the board. And I would consider fitting like a Doom Whisperer or 2 into the 75, but I'm not sure what would like make room for those cards. For the most part, I really like the list though. I've been very happy with it. Not like desperate to make any changes. Those are just the cards that I'm sad I don't have access to in the list. What should you play in Modern that's not Tron? Is a different format a valid suggestion, Reid? I think Spirits is pretty good. I've been like really impressed with Spirits, both playing it and playing against it. I know not everyone likes that deck though, but different format also qualifies as not Tron. Your RPTQ is modern, so no. Well, that's awkward for you. Memorial? I guess we just have to get rid of the Vivien off the board. Is Grixis Shadow still good in modern? It's like a modern deck, it's fine, right? All modern decks are fine. I'm just going to attack them, Contempt this, Chupacabra them, try and like clean up the board a little bit for the Tyrant next turn. I don't think I can attack the Tyrant this turn without letting them keep the Vivien in play for a turn, which seems unappealing. I think I'm just going to clean up this board a bit instead. They didn't put anything good on top, so I guess I'm just going to use the Contempt. It's a lot worse doing this if they have a Reaper, but if they have a Reaper, it's going to be really awkward for them trying to deal with our Carnage Tyrant without taking too much damage. I've not played with the Reflector Mage plan yet, Freed. I think it looks really good. And it has looked good when I've played against it, but I have not played with it enough to give you like a good answer. So Spirit Dredge, KCI, Storm Hardened, Scales Affinity. Yeah, I think KCI is very good. I was pretty unimpressed when I tried out Dredge. It felt like people were very prepared for it, but maybe I just like hit a bad weekend for it. Alright, hopefully they don't have another... They have a Branchwalker we know about, right? Or they have a Druid. That's just as brutal against our Tyrant. We kind of need to draw something. Alright. The Wildgrowth Walker looked amazing last game, so I guess it's about time for it to look less amazing, huh? We are now in trouble. They have a Memorial in the yard and a bunch of cards in hand. Can't attack with the Tyrant. So they just shove all 4 creatures in front of it and then the trophy doesn't do enough. So I guess I'm just shipping the turn. Do they really ditch a Finality? What do they have in hand? That's fair, Mundangu. That's fair. You might be right. I don't know. I'm scared of leaving Vivien on the board because it gives them more looks towards Carnage Tyrant, but yeah, you're probably right. That was probably good. I'm just like scared of giving them more looks for a Carnage Tyrant, but your point is reasonable. Luckily with our Carnage Tyrant in play, if we ever draw a Planeswalker, we're like pretty well shielded. What is this? Oh, they have a 4th Finality in their list? I guess is what this means. That'd explain them ditching one of them. It's really awkward because they just get to start attacking with like the other 4 3s and 3/2s. Maybe I just let them eat my Carnage Tyrant with their Finality and then they have hardly anything left and we have a trophy for their 6/5. You think we should just take 3? I think that's also fine. I'm gonna block my Chupacabra, I think. I guess if I don't block, I can actually threaten a bunch of damage, like kill their Jadelight, attack for a bunch. I don't know. Clock, yeah, we'll be fine. Maybe. It's gonna be close on the clock. I do need to speed up a bit. Right, they get back Jadelight. They recast it. Oh, maybe they didn't have a finality and they just wanted to... I'm being stupid. Oh, this is fine. They didn't get anything good off that. We don't have any attacks. We pass the turn. Carnage Tyrant on defense. We have a Vivien Reid, which is not particularly beatable. Yeah, I was stupid. I was just meant to block the Jadelight. They were just trying to kill it so they could rebuy it with the Memorial, right? That was very silly of me. Anyway, this is fine. They're just like drawing mana dorks. It's great for us. We've got lots of live draws in our deck. That was not one of them, in fact. I'm going to play it out, though. Since we have Explore creatures in our deck. Find off the top. Yeah, we have a Find. We have 2 Viviens. We have 2 more Carnage Tyrants. Even like an Explore creature is decent. With the Wildgrowth Walker. Like, digs us towards stuff very quickly. We have a Vraska. So we're in a fine position here, I think. Just like staring at each other. I think we'd be in an even better position if I'd not like traded off the Chupacabra for no good reason, but still. They probably have removal in hand is like the one problem. Like, they've not been doing anything for a while. And they have cards in hand. So there's a chance like one of them is a Contempt or something. Which makes Planeswalkers less enticing draws. Oh god. We can't beat the Midnight Reaper. That's like game ending. Jeez. Like, I feel forced to block. I have to block at some point, right? If it's not this turn, it's next turn. And they're just gonna like go around my blockers. I mean, they've already played 3 fine finalities this game. I was silly to think they had the 4th one earlier. It's just like, I didn't think, like, clearly the attack means they wanted to use Memorial, right? Oh, do I have a Midnight Reaper? Or I do have a Midnight Reaper somewhere in the deck. Yeah, Midnight Reaper's very good in the mirror. The thing is, it's like not great basically anywhere else. It's good in the mirror and against control, but there's lots of decks it's like very mopey against. But it's pretty good. There's a reason I have like 1 main, 1 board. Alright, let's draw Finality and kill them. Yeah, they're dead to Finality, right? They take 7 plus 5. Draw Finality, good strat in the drawer, indeed. Oh god. Jeez. Okay, they did have the extra Finality, sure. That's really strong. Probably losing this now. Kinda sucks. They just like Wheel of Fortuned. They've probably drawn like 2 or 3 Carnage Tyrants because they didn't have any all game long. And I'm assuming they're on like a 4 Tyrant build. So I don't see why else you would ever put Druid of the Cow in your deck. Alright. There you go. They can't Finality to make their Tyrant bigger than ours, so that's nice. Am I just meant to... I guess they have another Tyrant in hand. I'm just meant to draw a card and dig deeper into my deck. Otherwise, they just trade with the other Tyrant when I attack, right? At least this way I threaten to draw a card of the Reaper. It's like no world in which they don't have a second Tyrant in hand by now. Uh-huh. Yeah, I've seen 8 elf lists like that as well. Agreed. They are not that unusual. This is a sad way to lose. I feel like we've drawn like somewhat poorly this game. Obviously I made some mistakes along the way too though. Might have cost us. It's all like small edges, right? I feel pretty forced to contempt this. Hope to draw a Carnage Tyrant to block their Carnage Tyrant. Alright, find me a Carnage Tyrant, please. Not quite. Ugh. Alright. That does not do anything. I guess it does something with a detection tower. I'm gonna keep this, but I'm not sure that's correct. Or does enough. We're dead. Alright. GG. I feel like we could have won that if there were like a couple spots where we probably didn't play great. I don't think that's true, Heat Checker. I'm not convinced that's true. We know they had a Chupacabra in hand that would have like killed the Reaper. Dorks are obvious. I mean, the Dorks did nothing that game, right? The Dorks did literal nothing that game. Our late game was better. I just like played poorly and probably like didn't draw great either. To be fair, our opponent didn't draw great either. They didn't have any Carnage Tyrants in like the top 35 cards of their deck, which is pretty unlikely for them. So they were also not drawing amazingly. Yeah, the Vraska didn't do very much. You're correct, Heat Checker. The little Vraska. Like, if we drawn a land at some point, we might have been able to sequence things that Vraska could have been like a divination and then started pulling us further ahead. I could also just have played things more riskily to like ensure I got value off my Vraska. I maybe should have done that. Oh, thanks, Ian Quotes. I appreciate hearing that. I'm glad you're enjoying the stream. Alright. I would like the 4-1. That's fair, Heat Checker. I don't know. I'm not convinced that would work out, but... Alright, find a 2-drop. Awesome. I think I just want the Squire. Just make sure we curve out here. Over the Tyrant. The Tyrant's like a fair while off. Interesting. I think I just want to go 2 into 3 into 4, right? It's kind of sad that this could find a Wildgrowth Walker. Missing out on that opportunity is sad, but I think I just need to do stuff against my opponent's deck. Taking a turn off isn't terribly appealing. Yeah, that's fair, Heat Checker. I would be curious to know how that would have played out. Curious Obsession. Alright. This is gonna be tough. The Mistcloaked Herald Obsession draws are the good draws, right? They're the ones that make that deck look playable somehow. Am I reaping or rangering? I don't want to save the ranger in case I draw a Wildgrowth Walker. So I think I'm just going to play the Reaper instead. We already know what we want to play next turn, so digging for a play for next turn with the ranger isn't too important. Obsession is the main way they win, for sure. Like any games where they don't have Obsession, the deck's like a lot worse. The Obsession games can be really tough to win. Almost regardless of what you have in hand. Alright. This is how it goes. I guess I'm still casting my Chupacabra, right? Force them to pop the Storm Tamer so that like another Chupacabra does something. Get our 2/2 in play, etc. We have got a decent amount of pressure going. If we can draw a Wildgrowth Walker, maybe we can still race this. Obviously, Obsession's really scary, but our board's fairly developed at this point. Yeah, getting a 2/2 is not the worst too, that's true. I agree completely. It's a good one. Alright, so I attack first. And post combat I can go 2 into 3. Sure. Just like hope they don't have an Essence Scatter. They could also have a retort if they choose not to block. Like 100% attacking. Squire for a card. No, the Reaper's been turned off by the Trickster for a turn, so we don't get to draw a card off it. I mean, I guess I'm keeping this on top. Feel like there's basically no world in which she doesn't get countered. But I'm also not really sure what else I'm looking for. Like, the alternative would be, like, find a 2 or 3 drop, impulse for a 2 or 3 drop, try and double spell, but that feels really improbable. So I'm just going to keep her on top. Yes, that is in fact a line of text on Trickster. It's half the reason the card's good. You can, like, randomly blow people out by removing abilities. Especially against a card like Banalish Marshal. Being able to remove, like, an ability that affects combat like that can be really huge. Yeah, it messes up a lot of stuff. It's a very, very good card. At least in their deck. Interesting. Huh. Maybe they have a Spell Pierce? Maybe they just don't have a counter of the Vraska? Yeah, I could see that being the case. That they're just meant to try and trade with Reaper. I don't know, they had a retort in hand, so like turning on the retort is worth quite a bit. Alright, just gonna attack with these. I could attack Squire too to try and cash it in for a new card. If they block it, it means they can't like block the Reaper. Guess that's probably fine. Not like in love with it. Nice, they're chumping. Pretty okay with that. Huh, sure. This means we resolve the Vraska, which is nice. So we just go Vraska plus, right? Or we could go Impulse and try and, like, cross our fingers that the Wildgrowth Walker does something here. I kind of like Vraska plus, though. Make a 2/2 menace. Like, makes our board really threatening. -3 the Obsession. That's interesting. I kind of feel like the game's ending in the next turn or two, regardless of what we do is the thing. So I don't know that them drawing like one more card over the course of the game matters. Making a 2/2 menace is like pretty awkward for them to block. This is tough. They could also just have a spell pass is the problem. It's possible I meant to Impulse and look for an Explore creature. If we get to go Wildgrowth Walker to Explore creature, we're just in such an absurd position. I'm gonna do this. Not convinced it's correct, but can't be Jadelight. This is true. It cannot be Jadelight. Rough. Alright. I mean, that got us through like 3 lands in a row, right? If not for the Impulse, we'd be drawing 3 lands in a row, which in a lot of games would matter. Obviously, in this game, not so relevant. We have a 1/3 to block their 2/2 now, though. We still have a lot of pressure going. Hey, Daniel. Good to see you. Alright, we only take 3, which is fine. They're holding back things to block. This is the... No, it's not the hardest matchup. The matchup's close. The matchup's fine. The hardest matchup is probably the Drake's matchup. I think the Phoenix Drake deck is a pretty hard matchup, I think. This is a tough turn. So, things I'm thinking about. If I cast the Ranger pre-combat, it pumps the Wildgrowth Walker, but it's also very likely to get countered then. If we move to combat, they might Trickster, in which case they're tapped out, and we can try and resolve this. The other thing is, if we go into combat and some creatures trade off, it could draw us into a second Explore creature to play over the top of counter magic to ensure we gain some life this turn. So, there's like a lot of different things going on here. Might also Trickster the Walker. Yeah, if we cast this, they just Trickster the Walker, right? So I almost just want to move to combat and swing with these 3. Force them to do something. I'm not sure it's correct. I just feel like if we resolve the Ranger, we're probably in a pretty good position. If we don't resolve the Ranger, then this is irrelevant for combat anyway, so this feels like a good approach. Like, the life gain of the Ranger is just so huge. Yeah, they might tap out for a dive down too, that's true. That is very relevant. just to like keep creatures on board like they did last time. I'm pretty happy with these blocks, I think. So draw a card, deal 4. Not dead on board. I guess I draw 2 cards. Yeah, this is good, I think. Gives me 2 shots and another explore creature, which would just be so huge. Come on, please. Please, deck. Thank God. That's so good. Alright. This seems great for us. Oh. I'm gonna keep this on top, right? Seems excellent. We're actually gonna beat the Mistcloaked Herald Curious Obsession draw, potentially. I guess we could still lose this. Still very capable of losing this, but... You think we're good? I think we could be good. If they have a Djinn and can protect it, we could still lose this. So, we're not out of the woods, but I think we're in a good position. I guess having 3 lethal creatures in play is pretty nice, huh? Alright. So I could Finality them. But I think I just want to find, because then if this gets countered, I get to rebuy the Merfolk Branchwalker with my Memorial. Like, I feel like if the find doesn't get countered, I can't lose the game anyway, right? So I might as well just cast Find instead of Finality. Yeah, if the Find gets countered, they just, like, literally die. Correct. God, I love Golgari too much. How is Golgari so good? I say right before I somehow lose this game. Casting this first in case I hit an untapped land off the Explore. Saves me 2 life that way. Now they die. Did they just mess up? I think they just messed up. Now they're just dead, right? Turn 1 Mistcloaked Herald. Turn 2 Curious Obsession. Turn 8 still on board. Easily win. Easily. The ye of little faith. Hey Gabroth. Oh my gosh. That was nice. That was nice. Who was calling this a bad matchup anyway? What else was I taking out? I'm gonna check my sideboard guide a sec. Oh, I take out the Adventurous Impulses, don't I? Because they're bad against, like, Spell Pierce, and we have so many non-creature spells in the deck post-board. With our Duresses and Cast Downs and stuff. Alright. Yeah, the explore package is really important here. The explore package is so good. People who, I don't know. I don't understand not playing Wildgrowth Walker. Card is, Wildgrowth Walker. Card is unreal. Scavenger is good because it attacks. It hits them in the life total. Scavenger is just great. I think Scavenger is very good in the matchup. It attacks into Tempest Djinn too, which is really nice. Being able to attack into a Tempest Djinn is really strong. Thank you. They want to scatter a Squire. I'm kind of okay with that. I'm probably not going to scatter a Squire. Sure. Nice. They can retort this, so I just want to Duress this turn, right? You can see me playing against Drakes earlier in this league. It's going to be uploaded onto YouTube tonight, so you check out my YouTube account and you will find it. So I just take the retort, and then next turn I get to Scavenger, and Scavenger is just going to be really, really good here. Thanks, Gabroff. Appreciate it. Alright, it's possible I meant to play the land for trophy. I don't know, they have a dive down in hand. But then that, like, opens up for drawing, like a Contempt or a Chupacabra. Yeah, I agree. We just want to clear the way for our Scavenger to resolve, right? Scavenger's just, like, so good in the matchup. We've taken out most of our finalities, so I'm just going to gain 2 life. And then next turn we start attacking with a 4/3 every turn. Hey Selena, good to see you. Ooh, aggressive. I like it. I mean, that's what they have to do here, right? Just like be aggressive, hope we don't draw removal. Or more creatures. More creatures mainly, I guess. Just eat a random spell, doesn't really matter what. Ooh, that's interesting, Cabo. That is interesting. I could see that being good, for sure. Threat Dense is powerful. Powerful magic. Alright, we're currently losing the race, but we don't need much to catch up. So... I guess I trophied now? Since if for some reason they let it resolve, they deal less damage that way. I kind of want to trophy this so I can gain life if my Vraska's Contempt guaranteed. Or like, at least get this off the board guaranteed. Yeah, they can just sack it, that's true, to stop me gaining life. Alright, they just wanted the land more. Interesting. I guess this gives them more of a clock. Oh my god, this is so good. No, we're gonna lose. I'm punished. I guess we were gonna lose to this anyway, because they'd have the Storm Tamer in place, they'd have 2 levels of protection for this. We just kind of flooded a bit and didn't draw many threats. Huh. I guess I can't eat a creature here, so I have to like hope they don't draw a land. But also don't draw a relevant spell. So I need to draw a spell in order to be able to attack with my Scavenger. Alright, I kind of need them to... I don't know what they can draw here for that's good for us, but... It's kind of wild. We beat the Curious Obsession draw and lost to, like, the Do-Nothing draw. Oh my god, Daniel. That sounds like a wise thing not to agree to, yes. Agreed. Yeah, Finality would be good here. Maybe we could bring one of them back in. I think I leave one in the deck, right? Yeah, I leave one in the deck currently. I could imagine leaving a second one in not being bad. So we need them to have like a Spell Pierce in hand or something absurd. Interesting. Oh wow, this attack puts loads of creatures in our yard for our Deathgorge Scavenger. This is great. How are we in this game? Don't understand. What happened? When and... Am I meant to trophy this, and if so, when? I think I meant to wait for a Tempest Gen. Because the Scavenger currently races the Trickster. Alright, I go to 1. I mean, buying ourselves life does matter if they do something like this, right? So if they have Syncopate, I kind of want to do this now. If I draw Duress, I want to wait till my turn, though. I guess I'm gonna wait. Could be punished, though. Eat your Trickster. Can we just pull one out for this Deathgorge Scavenger? It's doing solid work for us. We would never be in this game without this Deathgorge Scavenger. To be clear. We're probably still an underdog regardless, but this Deathgorge Scavenger, trying his hardest. Please have nothing. Somehow. Just have an Essence Scatter in hand. No! Ah, sure. Come on. Tilt. Alright, game free. Game free. No, it's correct for them to do it that way, I think. That cuts us off like a bunch of creatures, right? It cuts us off Chupacabra, if we have that in hand. So I think that's just like good sequencing from opponent. If they figure this is like the last turn that matters, then they should use the Spell Pierce whilst they have a chance. It's also better against, I guess it's not better against Contempt, it's the same against Contempt. But it's better against dupes. Alright. Do I want the 4th Duress? And do I want a second Finality? I think everything else is kind of garbo. These are the considerations. I do worry about drawing too many Duresses against like the all creatures draws is the problem. Brontodon is also not great. Answers Obsession incredibly inefficiently. Do you want to cut the 2 Brontodons for Duress Finality? How do people feel about that? No, you don't need Vivien. I don't think Vivien's very good in the matchup. They have like spell pierces and stuff. I don't know. Vivien's fine, but I think most games are just decided by casting 2 and 3 drops and then like trying to race them. She's kind of expensive against them. It's just like whether I want these is unsure over the Brontodons, since the Brontodons aren't terribly impressive here. You don't need to be efficient at dealing with Obsession, I guess. Guess I'll just run it like this, just like stick with my sideboard guide. It's kind of tough though. Like certainly that game of Finality would have been like extremely good. Just like buy back 2 creatures. Alright, we need a black source, but Branchwalker helps with that. Once we draw a black source, this hand's very good, right? I think I'm meant to keep this. Obviously we could lose very easily with this hand, but it's just like part of the chance you take. How do I feel about Harpooner? I think the card's too narrow. I think this is like the only matchup where I'd want Harpooner, so... I just want to cast down this. Because the next turn I can go Branchwalker plus Duress. Just like take no risks until I've seen their hand. They're on Spell Pierce. Scatter, Obsession, Retort, Tricksters. Great. So I have to take the Obsession. And then cast my Branchwalker. Honestly, Obsession on Trickster is not that scary. We have a lot of removal. I might just take the Retort. This is a tough one. Yeah, they don't have anything to protect an Obsession carrier if you take the Retort. That is true. This feels wild, but I think it might be correct. They probably scatter this. I guess they can Trickster it, get a guard off the Obsession, but then like we have a bunch of removal. I don't know, this is we are playing this game very riskily, but I think it also gives us like a very good shot at just winning, which is nice. Yeah, they do get to cycle their Obsession, right? Which is still good, but still like means they're not down in cards. But right. So I have to just pass the turn here, and then when they go to tap it, I can cast down. Thanks, C in quotes. I'm glad you appreciate that. Hope you have a nice day. It's nice having you in chat. I just kill this. Get it off the field whilst I can. We have a scatter and 2 mystery cards. But we have like a very strong hand. Alright, black sauce, please. Black sauce. Urgh. Oh, alright. They have a scatter and 2 cards. This is tough. We cannot Choops the Djinn, sadly. Would that we could. I really don't want to trophy them when they have like 3 spells in hand. I kind of just want to cast the Scavenger so that if we draw a land we can go double 2 and be efficient. Scavenger like represents some decent pressure too. Gets to attack into the Djinn. We might not get another chance to trophy, but I think I just need to use my mana efficiently. We can't play too scared, right? Can't try and beat everything. This Deathgorge Scavenger does a lot here. Gains us some life and then races decently so it can attack into Djinns. Please don't have Obsession. Okay. Thank God. They put a card on the bottom of the opt. Yeah, they have a scatter for this Chupacabra. Okay, they're attacking with both. Interesting. I guess they figure if they attack the Trickster, we get to attack with the Deathgorge and gain life. Whereas this way they cut us off gaining life. You can just like block the Branchwalker. That's a real awkward draw. Alright. Let's attack with both my creatures, and then I assume we're just casting a Wildgrowth Walker here. They have a Trickster, they can take down the Scavenger. Cool, we get to keep the Scavenger in play, which is nice. I'm just gonna cast the Wildgrowth Walker, I think. Since it's not very good if we don't have a Branchwalker in hand anyway. I kind of need this Branchwalker to help us dig for lands for the Chupacabra. Alright, that's a Warkite Marauder. So they still have Scatter up now if they want. That is a good draw. We've seen Spell Pierce in their list, which is the tough thing. So I kind of want to cast Branchwalker second because of Spell Pierce. It's a possible draw. Yeah, like a Black Source would be better, but it's still good, right? Still good. Alright. Dive down incoming. Yeah. See if we can find a black source here. That is not quite it. Yes, we have to yard that to look for removal or black sources. Right, I'm definitely attacking. It's whether I gain life or pump. Because if I just pump, they have a 2-turn clock in the air. Whereas if I gain life and they trade, that buys me a bit of time. And it's still not even certain that they'd trade. Though they probably would. I think I meant to gain life and offer the trade. So that I don't leave myself dead in 2. There will be a weekend stream, Gabroff. I probably on Sunday. I haven't like finalized it, but I'm planning on streaming over the weekend. Since I don't have that much going on this weekend, I'm meeting up with my sister and my nephew on tomorrow, which I'm very excited for. But I don't have too much going on this weekend, so I figured a weekend stream would be nice. Alright. Move to combat. Just happens. Sick. Eat the Trickster to get us out of range of lethal next turn. I'm also not sure what format it will be. Probably a constructed format of some description though. I'm enjoying both modern and standard a lot at the moment. Alright, please resolve. Yep. I mean, we have lethal and they don't. We do need to draw something good. They put a card on top with the opt, which is scary. Okay. Sure. It's kind of awkward. We have to gain life to not die to the Djinn, but then they just get to, that is a good draw. I guess it's not a good draw, because they drew the Storm Tamer. Huh. What is the plan here? So I attack both, I gain life, and they don't have to block, and then we're dead in the air. So that's not an option. I can attack both, pump the Scavenger, and they block with the Warkite Marauder, and take 4. And then they can protect the Djinn and I die. So that's not an option. I think I'm just dead regardless if my opponent doesn't mess up. Pretty sure I'm dead regardless if my opponent doesn't mess up. So yes, I give them the opportunity to mess up. If I attack and gain life, they just don't have to block either of my creatures is the problem, Ghost. Because they only go to 1. Opponent did not mess up, sadly. Opponent is smart. Alright, these games were sick though. These games were so intense. It was a very good match. GG's. That match was sick. Normally I'm not used to games against Mono Blue being that interesting. Alright, fell to a 3-2, but we had a really solid start that league. Felt like both the matches we lost, the deck still looked very good, which was nice. Still doing very good things. Bloodshot Cyclops.